Hello everyone. Um, this is my fourth presentation on my salary prediction model. And so just a continuation of the other slides that I had presented to you guys earlier on. My AI problem, as I told you earlier on, is a salary prediction model, and this model is expected to predict salary of an employee based on various independent variables. And those variables, I've showed you times and times, again and again. Those variables are the age, salary, work class, marital status, country of origin, and all that. The background of my AI project, this proposed model is directed to predict the salary of employees with different levels of education, work class, age, by comparing their various information with the predicted salary. Which is the predicted salary? The predicted salary is either greater than 50,000 or less than or equal to 50,000. I have actually seen that in the private, work class dominates the rest, and then a younger male employee would expect more salary, since the male and the young age group dominate the rest. As you will go ahead to understand this thing if I start implementing. You go ahead to understand why I'm saying that it's the male employee working privately and then having a younger age are the ones that get what? A greater salary, a salary that's greater than 50,000. I will show you that in my implementation. And then in the implementation, I used classification, which is under supervised learning. And the accountability of my model, accountability just implies expectations that may be set out by management practices that guides individuals or organizations, actions, and allows them to explain reasons for which actions and decisions were taken by an AI model. Meaning that I should be able to explain why my model is giving me a salary that is greater than 50,000 or less than or equal to 50,000. I should be able to be accountable for its decisions that it makes. In case of any mistakes, any biases, I should be able to explain why my model is doing so. The significance of the AI model, the AI project. My salary prediction model should be able to predict the salary for various sets of data for the employees, and that he or she is able to understand the range within which he or she falls as regards salary. Meaning that if this employee comes up with his own information, given the age, work class, marital statuses, the origin, the country of origin, and all that, this model should go ahead to predict their salary. And this is actually important for organizations and companies. They are able to predict the salary of the employees, of the individual employees. Even the employees themselves are able to predict their own salary based on the information that they have, the work experience, and all that. And then the AI scope, this just entails of the scope description, deliverables, acceptance criteria, exclusions, and then the constraints. Of course, the problems that I'll come across as I implement. The scope description, the AI model will have to predict salaries of employees, and that it should have a higher accuracy so that it is reliable. Of course, it should be reliable. We should be able to have a model that we can trust, that it will actually do what we expect from it. That is what I mean by reliable. It should be reliable. We should be able to get what we actually expect from the model after inputting in certain data. I'll have to in the implementation process, of course, includes the importing the libraries, the libraries, the NumPy, the pandas, and all the other, the matplotlib, all the other libraries. We need them in the dataset, then loading the data, my very own dataset, loading it into the notebook, cleaning the data, cleaning the data, I go ahead to remove all columns that are not necessary. I drop them out, and then I change indices of certain data frames and so on, as I'll show you in the implementation. And then the project deliverables, what should you guys expect? I'll only have to present. I'll present a video. I present a video during my implementation of the model. I'll show you guys how it works, how I'm going ahead to do everything, and then the acceptance criteria. Of course, the video should be should first be reviewed before I go ahead to publish it. Make sure that all the mistakes, the errors, all the biases are removed, and then I go ahead to do the project exclusions. This project does not include payments to external parties for research, writing, or other outsourced services. And then the constraints, unforeseen delays in communication, uh, changes in scope, time, and resources could affect the project. Of course, here I see time and resources, the space, the space. Here, actually, but since I'm doing a salary prediction model, it requires a large data set to be more accurate. So I'm looking at memory as a resource, and then computation time, all that. The second, the problem. The actual desired goal is to produce an AI model that predicts the expected salary of an individual based on their various data, based on classification, of course. And then the reality. However, my data set contains limited data set. The data, as I showed you, my data has limited information, and this may cause errors and some unforeseen biases. And then I have to incorporate new data, some data I have to include in some more columns, and then I'm seeing that based on the above constraints, I'll have to add more data, feature engineering, feature selection. I'll have to do all that. Then I research questions. I went ahead to find out accountability, and then understand responsible AI, significance of my project, the classification as regards machine learning, classes of my data set, hypothesis. I have placed that my salary prediction model will have to predict salary for the different employees based on the old data that we shall use to test and then train it. Therefore, it should be able to match the new data set that I incorporate in, so that it could be able to make decisions or predict the salary based on the new information that is fed in. The question is that I don't know if my model will successfully do this. I don't know how if it will be able to estimate the salary of the employees. Of course, the objectives of my data of my model is to predict salary accurately. Actually, the data set description, we have the contents, the purpose, the classes, quality of the data set, and the source. I'll be able to share to give you guys the source, this link, where I got my dataset, the one that I'm presenting, the quality of my dataset. My data, I went ahead to find out the missing values in the columns, and I found that there were no missing values using this syntax. During the implementation, I used this syntax, and then I found that I had no missing data, and then I go ahead to find the null values. If they're in there, I go ahead to replace them, and then the classes that's salary greater than 50,000 or less than or equal to 50,000, and the purpose, of course, to make decisions on what, and the salary and the contents, of course, the features of the data set. Then the proposed methodology, I'll have to use this methodology to go ahead and implement my model. I'll import libraries and load data. I clean the data, I explore, and then I do the preprocessing, I do the splitting, and then I do the comparison. Make sure that my data is accurate and makes better decisions. The interpretation of the techniques to be used. Of course, classification, I'll use it's a classification model that I'll follow. Of course, to go ahead and do the methodology. This methodology, I'll go ahead to explain it in details. during the implementation, but as for now, you should understand that importing libraries, of course, these libraries are used, and just a collection of modules that are used repeatedly in programs. Then loading the data. This involves importing the CSV file of the dataset. The dataset itself is imported into the model, and then cleaning the data. The one I explained earlier on, the exploration. We discover the patterns to spot anomalies, to test the hypothesis, and also check assumptions with the help of graphical representations. Of course, we do the graphical representations, draw graphs, bar graphs, we do pie charts, but I'll only have to draw bar graphs. I'll draw bar graphs, and then I'll show you guys the graphical representation my data set, and then the data preprocessing. Here we make the data suitable for machine learning, and this includes finding missing data, encoding the categorical data, splitting the data set, feature scaling, and all that. Splitting the data set for training and testing. Um, Here I arrange the data into the format acceptable for trained test split. You understand all this as I do the implementation. Modeling, this is just the evaluation of performance, which includes the use maybe accuracy, finding the accuracy, finding the F1 score, the precision, and the recall. And then the comparison. In the comparison, I'll use different algorithms to evaluate the performance using of course the different algorithms. And the algorithms that I will use in my model, I'll use logistic regression, I'll use random forest classifier, and then I'll use gradient boosting classifier. I guess this is it. If you need the references to my work, I'll go ahead and post them. See you guys in the implementation. Thank you. Please subscribe and like my video. Thank you.